What's up, everybody? So today I'm gonna be demonstrating a high skin taper. He's not gonna cut the length on top or the sides because he just got cut the previous week, so he didn't want to do any of that. So I'm gonna go straight into the cut. First off, using my wall balding clipper. This one's strictly for balding. I just like it because it's just meant for that. A lot of people, I notice that they like to use their outliners and all that stuff, but what ends up happening with that is your blade doles out. So you guys don't really want to do that. I like to invest in myself, so I decided to get me one of these to, strictly do the balding part of the haircut. And I'm gonna take that line up right under his earlobe. I like to use that method I like to apply that method actually to all of my neck tapers. You don't want to be going too high or too low. Pay attention to the client's head. Right after that, I'm gonna be using my Wahl 5-Star Finale shaver. That's just my preference in this case. It's whichever one you guys like, and it's just gonna be an up and down stroke motion going against the grain and then with the grain right under that previous line that we made with the balding clipper. Once you guys get that done, we're going to jump straight into our next step, which is going to be the half. And in this case, I'm using the Wahl Cordless Magic Clip Open, or a half, whichever one you want to call it. We're going to go about half an inch to an inch up. And as you can see, by flicking out, the line isn't really there. So that's what you guys have to remember. Don't make hard guidelines because it's going to make that next step harder. And once I'm, as I do the half, I'm going to work my way down, going halfway and then all the way close. As you guys can see in this case, that's what I'm doing. I'm just working that lever, and as you get more experience, you're going to keep getting better and better at that. So don't knock yourself down if you have to use your left hand to move that lever. I've been there before. I know what that's like. And it doesn't have to be perfect right away. A lot of people knock themselves down and try to perfect the whole cut right away, and that just slows you down. So just go ahead and get your steps done. We're creating a base right now. Later on in the cut, we're going to be able to come back and fix all the little errors or whatever it is, if you went too high or went too low. Once we get done with that step, we're going to jump into our number one guard open. So just open it all the way, I usually like to go about an inch with this one, just because it'll stretch out the blend. It won't look so bulky, or it won't create that short blend. Or it really depends what your client likes. In this case, like I said, it's a high taper, so I like to stretch it out. And starting off open, and like I said before, work your way down. Close the clipper halfway and then close it down all the way. As you close it more though, you want to rub a little bit harder so it could really blend out that bottom line. Right after that, I'm going to slap on my 1.5 white clip, and I'm going to go half an inch up. I don't want to go too high with this one. Once you start going higher than the occipital bone with these tapers, I feel like they just look too high. So make sure you pay attention to that. You don't want your client to stand up and you're going to be like, damn, it's a little too high on his neck. Because trust me, you'll notice. So I'm going to jump straight into clipper over comb by using my Motive Fading Comb. Motive Pro, check them out on Instagram. You get the chance. They're my favorite combs. I'm using the clipper over comb technique, like I said, and all I'm doing is laying that comb flat against the client's head and tilt it up 90-degree angle right under that previous line, and whatever hair is showing, boom, just cut it. I'm using the Oster Octane with the one clip on there. It doesn't cut it too short, or it's not too long like a regular one guard, so that's why I like to use it. And then this client in particular has thinner hair, so I don't want to use a half and then cut too much hair off, if you guys understand what I'm saying. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, just get the step done and move on to the next one. Ever since I started cutting with clipper over comb, my haircuts just got faster, so don't sleep on this technique. Make sure you guys apply it to any type of cut that you guys are doing. Right after that, now that last line that's left, you're just going to get that Wahl half clip, open it up, and work your way down. And just pretty much I like to leave it at the end because it's like a touch-up guard. I don't like to waste too much time, and as you can see, it just fades it out really quick. By flicking out and just leaving it at the end. I could touch up the haircut, but at the same time fade it all out. So that's what I'm doing in this case. And make sure you guys always have a brush in your hand. As you can see, I have a little brush on my left hand to be able to get all that hair off, and just touch up the cut enough to where I feel like it's good enough. But once you line it all up, the cut changes. So like I said, don't spend too much time on there. Just get the steps done and keep moving forward with the cut. Now, same step as I told you guys before, Wahl balding. I'm going a little higher towards his lineup area because it is a higher taper. I don't like to go too high behind the ear because then it just looks too much, like too behind his ear. You don't want your taper to start looking like a fade. Right after that, like I said before, the shaver going against the grain, and then with the grain, as you can see right there, what I'm doing, I'm tapping it down. And what that's going to do is it's not going to leave that hard bald line that sometimes a lot of us have trouble fading out. And as you guys can see, all of my steps are the same. I like to keep my steps nice and neat and the same all the way around so everything looks even. So I start off with a half, close it halfway, close it all the way, and everything just starts fading smoothly once you start getting used to your system or technique. And I like to just keep one most of the time because I could apply it to most haircuts. A lot of people's haircuts are different though, their head shapes are different, so there's so much that goes into hair that sometimes, you know, it's crazy to explain, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys to understand. Here on the side of the head, instead of using clipper over comb, just to show you guys something different, I got the number 4 guard, and maybe it cuts, maybe it doesn't, but I like to play it safe. I'll go over the higher guard and really pay attention to the client's hair. As you can see behind his ear, his hair grows differently, so make sure you guys go behind there and use different angles according to the client's hair growth. And right after the 4, I'm just using the number 3 guard, open, work my way down, just because I don't like to keep going higher, and then just make that blend look too high. I'll work my way halfway up and then halfway down. That's usually my technique with most haircuts. Use the 2, and then now I'm using my 1.5 clip open, working my way down. And if you notice with these high tapers, they don't have the little arch. I notice a lot of people try to do the high tapers and they leave it. This client doesn't like them, but for some reason that looks ugly to me when they leave it and it's a high taper. So, you know, pay attention to the client's hair. Sometimes they don't know what they want, so you guys have to make sure you guys give them the appropriate taper for their head shape. Honestly, this guy could pull both of them off, and there's just some people that are lucky like that, but his preference is to take it off. In this case, that's why I did do it higher. And like I said, as you guys know, you guys are starting to catch on to the system that I use. And, you know, I was with my wall 1 guard, just touching up, working my way down. Last step, just like the back, half clip, open it up. And by the beginning, when you use the clipper open, and then now at the end you use the half clip, a lot of people think it's the same, but if you open it up, it's almost a 1, and then if you close it, it's the same thing as no clip open. So it's kind of tricky, but if you guys get catching along to it, you'll realize that there's no way to mess up. Like, it's super easy to catch on to it once you learn it. And if you have to write it down, a lot of people try to like remember it, and it's hard, trust me. So make sure you write it down, study it, and apply it. So you're gonna keep doing that step until you close it all the way, and by that time you're gonna start doing your touch-up work, and that's what we're gonna be going into next. There's a small line left there, so what I do is I just take out my guard and then just touch it up, just using the last 2 to 4 teeth of the clipper. As you can see, I'm not using the whole blade, I'm just using the corners. So remember that and apply that to your guys' steps. It'll help you out a lot. You don't want to be using the full blade the whole time, because then you will cut more hair than you need to. And I forgot to post that lineup part of this tutorial. As you can see, I already did it in the video by accident, so sorry about that. I'll be doing that soon in another video. And like I said, touch-up work. So I'm going back to the side, I'm kind of just touching it up and just perfecting any little things I see, because I feel like once you line it up, it looks a lot different, like I said previously. Next step is the lineup, and I'm using my NST liners. It's really whatever you guys like. I've tried them all. You can never go wrong with one of these, so if you guys are starting off, make sure to cop a pair of these. They're gonna be good. And if you look at closely, the part that's already lined up is his better side of his lineup. It just goes flat down, super easy to line up. I like to start off in the middle, kind of just work my way to the sides, and you don't always have to go high on the sides. Like, really pay attention to the client's forehead. You don't want to be making lineups too high. I notice that's a problem with a lot of up and coming barbers. And then on that side that I'm on is the trickiest side, because it's kind of like a little cowlick, so you got to really comb it down, touch it up, comb it down, touch it up, and that's what it really takes to create a nice sharp line. You want to keep it natural but crispy at the same time. So here I'm showing you guys a little close-up angle, and on the sides here you want to do a 90 degree, and you'll be seeing that shortly. To kind of the top of the corner is the one you want to touch the least, and then on your sides you'll kind of do that 90 degree angle, and it'll create a nice smooth line. At the end of the day, we're going to go back with the razor, so it really doesn't matter if it's super sharp. And we're just going to continue touching up his lineup. That's what it really takes to be able to get a nice, crispy, natural line. You don't want to be known as that barber that's pushing lineups back, because trust me, it's a pretty big deal down the line. You're not going to gain clientele, and you're going to lose some of the clientele you already have. And, you know, it's a pretty big deal to most clients. After that, straight razor time. Just by simply stretching the skin with my thumb, it's going to allow the blade to just do the work on its own. You don't want to be applying too much pressure, because at the end of the day, it is a knife. And now I'm going to go behind his ear using the back of the blade. As you can see, now I'm using the front. You want to be able to use the whole thing, so just remember that, because it's key. So I'm just going to get these extra neck hairs to finish off the cut, and that's going to conclude our haircut. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to be able to stay tuned for my future videos. Thank you for watching.